We used a sledgehammer. Sledgehammers fix Beamers. That's the intro.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports, and as the title and thumbnail suggest, we did get an E39 wagon. Now this is a 528. It is a 5-speed manual, so nothing too crazy, but we are looking at doing an S62 swap in the future. We'd have to get an M5 donor. The 5 Series is very difficult to find right now. The 7 Series that we've been working on a little bit, we're probably going to either postpone or scrap that idea. We would really like to do one eventually, but where we came across this wagon, it's super rare.
Remember back when we did the top 10 cars, this thing was on the top 3.
Right, for David's list, that when we did the ranking of all the cars, we'll have the link to that up here, where we went through and talked about all of our favorite BMWs and what we'd like to have. This was one of them. So we're gonna go out and we're gonna move our S54 wagon off the lift so we can get the red one up there. But before we go and do that, we're gonna take all 3 of these. That's the S54 wagon, the E39 wagon, and then the 330 race car. We're gonna take all those out and go get some pictures and some cool footage of them.
$1999 528i capital T for touring. It is a manual transmission, no sunroof model, which are quite rare. It also has a lot of M Sport components. Not 100% sure if they are original M Sport or if they've been added over the time. I don't know how many owners it has. The car originally came from Texas and then was sitting in somebody's backyard, and the guys I bought it from went to buy an M3 from him, saw it, and made him a deal for both. And then they had 2 of these wagons, and they're S62 swapping the other one, and decided they were going to sell this one for funding for the other project. So I acquired it. It is wrapped in red. I'm calling it Arrest Me Elmo red. The official name is Hellrot red. Underneath it's dark blue, which I like, but the clear coat's completely faded. And if we come around the side here, it's got some extremely rare wheels. Now, some of you guys, well, most of you guys are BMW enthusiasts. You're like, no, those aren't rare. These are 19s. And I'm not claiming that they're any good quality, but they are stupid rare. They were made by a knockoff company that BMW quickly put out of business by suing them into oblivion. I've never seen one before until I got this car. I've never found one online. I had to dig into the forums to find out that these were even a real known thing. But they're basically the E39 M5 wheels in a 19. They have the same width, same offset, And if you change up the tire just slightly, they have the exact same overall rotational diameter as a set of 18-inch M5 wheels. The thing that's concerning is that you probably wouldn't want to run these over about 120 miles an hour because they're poor quality material and they might explode. So you also can't powder coat them because they generally crack in the oven because of porosity in the metal. So these are show only, daily driving. Do not track these. Do not try to take them on the Autobahn. But this was, again, the original dark blue, which I really like. And once that wrap comes off, we'll see if we're going to save that paint or completely redo it. But I do like that color. That's one of my favorite colors. The interior's in okay shape. There's nothing extremely broken. Everything's a little bit worn. And right now, I've found nothing that doesn't work on this car. So, as a daily, it's going to be great. It looks great with the red. I just, have to be careful because it's, like I said, a Rest Me Elmo red. It's got BC coilover suspension under it, which is the good stuff. It's the same thing we put in the 7 Series, if you recall. But it is all the way down, and the front end hasn't been done. So they've worked on the back end. According to these guys, I picked it up really fast, so we didn't talk as much as I wanted to. There's something that's not installed in the back, and all of the front suspension components are sitting here on the ground. So we're going to put those in and get everything adjusted to a ride height that's more appropriate for Idaho, so I'm not having to rip the front and rear off this car.
I have not worked on a 5 Series, an E39 5 Series, doing like suspension components and stuff like that, but it should be pretty straightforward. We've got new parts. There's going to be corresponding parts underneath the car. And then like David said, it had BC Racing coilovers on it, which are absolutely fantastic. He's loved the ones that are on the 7 Series. They turned out really good for us. And we've had a lot of people say, well, they're really stiff for being a daily driver, but we didn't experience any of that. We actually were able to get it tuned up kind of what we were hoping to have. So we'll have those linked in the description below for an E39 5 Series. So we're gonna take a look, make sure that the underside of the car is in a complete disaster, and see what we can adjust and fix today. So it looks like we've got an oil pan that needs to be done at some point. Yeah. That's not something we can do today. That's kind of an all-day thing. And with taking pictures and cleaning the car a little bit, we're slightly behind. But I can see already some of the parts that we've got that need to be replaced. That guy right there. Yeah. Well, but we got front. We got both. We have everything. It looks like, except for the actual sway bar. Sweet. And I've got a pickle fork, so of various sizes. And those BCs they're all dirty now. Oh, some BCs hidden up in there. All that salt. Looks like the rest of the car is fairly clean. It's just a couple. Looks like all that really is you're leaking. If you see here behind you, I think that goo right there. That is radiator overflow. Yep, that is a radiator overflow, and it looks like it's been spurging a little bit. That's what that looks like when it mixes with oil. Let's go to the back because I'm curious to see what's going on in the back here. Yeah, so these are new. So your springs back here don't have, it doesn't look like they've got the adjustment on them. I'm probably not picking them up on camera, but we've got these adjustments for them because they left it in like this separate setup, looks like. That's what those are down there then. Because this is not a true strut in the back. This is a strut and a spring separate, coil separate. Yeah. Okay, and that's what these are right here, and that's what they were saying. Lift this up, get that spring out of there. That's fun.
We've been at this for a little bit now, and we adjusted the ride height. We had to install the spring height adjuster because it wasn't installed yet, and then we also adjusted the dampeners. We were previously sitting right there, and now we are here. And it does pass the shoe test, but for where we live and the amount of bumps and roads and ditches and culverts and everything that are in the driving path, it needs to be a little higher. So got that right where we want it, and then we're going to move on to the front. And we think we're going to go up about an inch in the front because right now we're right there and hoping to put it right at 3. Maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch higher in the front will put us right where we want to be.
So we just got done putting the front end back together. We did the control arms in the front. There's actually two separate ones. I'm not sure if it's like an upper or lower, front and rear kind of in the front. So we got those both replaced. We were going to do the tie rod ends, but we're running a little bit short on time and we don't want to have this out of alignment. We're probably going to replace those when we've got a alignment scheduled that same day or something like that, so we're not driving around tearing up our tires. And then as you can see here, we are exactly where we wanted to be. So we wanted to raise the front about 1 inch, and there you go. We are 1 inch higher, which matches the front to the back. Now, we also today are going to be doing a little bit of some fun stuff. So this was all really dirty work underneath the car, lots of grease and grime and dirt. But before we wrap up today's video, we're going to be putting on some overlays. So these ones here are actually black and white. They came like that. I always recommend buying BMW replacement roundels. They can last decades. And if you keep up on them, we talked about this on the S54 wagon when we were doing them. If you keep up on them, you can keep your BMW ones for a very, very long time. If you buy aftermarket ones, it's kind of a shot in the dark if they're going to last 2 months or 2 years. So these ones here are actually black and white and they're aftermarket, but we're going to be adding some red to them. And then the other ones that are the OEM ones that are going to be blue and white, we'll be doing the red and the black. And then once we're done with that, we'll wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed today's content, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. If you're interested in any of these, you can hit me up on my Instagram, Tenza_motorsports, where you should also follow. If you are interested in any of our future giveaways, we do a bunch of giveaways. We've done some ECS tuning giveaways. We've done some super clean giveaways. So if you want to be part of any of that, all you have to do is follow us at Tenza_motorsports on Instagram. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see everybody in the next video.